Hi guys, so we're just cruising around Georgia. The Jeep is absolutely covered in mud. Beautiful day, a little bit of showers this morning, so there are some wet places along the road. And then right now we're headed out towards the Statesboro, Georgia area. The theme of today's video is, go explore where you live. I think most people, a lot of overlanders are weekend warriors, kind of like ourselves. We don't do this full time. We got to have a day job to support our hobby. And I really love just getting out and driving, exploring, and seeing new things. The good habit I've gotten into is whenever I'm out cruising trails or back roads, I will take and I will put in four-wheel drive and turn the traction control off. When it's a combination of dirt and hardball, especially for these short little stints, I won't necessarily air down all the time. A lot of people use their farm trucks out here, so they're running street tire pressure for the most part. The drive does help, keep from tearing up the road. There's another little farmhouse. So somebody started off with that, developed the land. One time time took over. The sky over here is just beautiful. A lot of farm roads, a lot of neat old farmhouses out here, but hope you guys enjoy the ride. Over here you can see they planted some trees. Oh, I was supposed to turn left. I had to go left, my bad. We're following these trails. They were all mapped out by V-Man1313. He used to have them free on his website, but now you kind of pay as you go. And he's got all kinds of things. He's got like the Georgia Adventure Trail. This is one of the middle Georgia loops, just different segments of it. And so there's a lot of like country and dirt roads, county roads, farm roads. As you can see, these have mailboxes, so clearly the mail traffic has to come up and down these roads. You don't want to tear up a bunch of stuff. A lot more mud in the mirror again. So the side of the Jeep is absolutely coated in mud. So we've actually done several of these little day trips this weekend. So started off Friday, just took a few back roads, didn't see a whole lot, and then Saturday I think we went down to eat some barbecue at one place, just kind of in the middle of nowhere. The theme of today's video is go explore where you live. You don't have to take these big trips across the country. If you just enjoy a little bit of off-road driving, you can just get out and explore kind of where you live. Again, just do your research ahead of time. Luckily I've got some KMZ files for across Georgia, the Carolinas, Alabama, even parts of Tennessee. Everything from the Smoky Mountain 1000 route to the Georgia Adventure Trail, the North Florida Adventure Trail. I still want to get with John and download the Fat Florida Adventure Trail. He's actually done a lot of work down there to expand that, but most of these adventure trails, unless it runs through a section where people don't really live, the roads here are mostly farm roads in Georgia, so they're pretty flat. You get up into Tennessee, you're going to have more rocks. In North Georgia area, rocks. But for the most part, like Florida is going to be a lot like this, where it's trees and sand, and sometimes it's good to just get away. I really need to find a mount for this on the Jeep, this little DJI camera, because here they've got some big plants for making tequila. Blue agaves, those things are huge. Dogs chasing us. So if you ever take the FAA pilot license test, it's funny, I took that. But a lot of the maps they use are around the Statesboro, Savannah area. So it's, being able to identify the airports and everything, And then they changed it. You used to use the Before You Fly app. Now I use autopilot just to make sure airspace is clear. Just some things like that to know. But these back roads are pretty fun just to cruise and venture and see what you see. Here you got some swamp on the right. But I definitely want to adventure more in 2025. Here's a horse farm. So you see a good mix of, cattle, horses, goats, chickens. It's funny, some of these back roads now, you'll see whole neighborhoods start popping up. Oh, shed that they've kept up. Sometimes when you download these files, it's just a guess because the background map isn't super great, especially when you get out here and there's just generic imagery for the area. Cities will have a lot of detail. Sometimes in the rural areas you won't get as much detail, awnings, off road, or anything else. So you're kind of just following the map. And as you can see, it's a little pixelated right there. We do have the Lee boost on, so ideally it would be refreshing the map here. Back on gravel. You have to turn left and then turn right, so sort out a 4-wheel drive. Another road just turns to dirt. Back in 4-wheel drive. It's always good to keep it below 25 miles per hour when you throw it in 4-wheel drive. So I've been out there fishing on that little island. We're getting ready to drive right through the middle of Statesboro, so sometimes it's a combination of back roads, sometimes it's a combination of dirt roads. A lot of them are farm roads, and then you see purple lines down here. That's like where we've been through Pembroke and some of the other places in Georgia. But sometimes it's fun to just get out and adventure. muddy out here. Might be time for some new wiper blades. But just continuing to follow the trails I've got plotted here on Onyx. The side of the Jeep is a muddy mess. So, fender over there. Dry spots, wet spots. So we've basically traveled from Savannah to Statesboro, mostly on dirt roads today. So it's been a pretty fun little drive. There's a farmhouse there, that's neat. There's a stop sign. Come up here, we'll take a right. Clear that way, clear that way. I've graded this lately. These big water systems are pretty popular out here. Slow children at play. I will encourage you to go out there and explore your neck of the woods. A lot of places have dirt roads and things. Just be cautious of the no trespassing signs. Always take the files you find online with a grain of salt, because you know, maybe the person was doing the right thing, maybe they weren't over here. Right down below the pond. Up on the hills, a silo. So definitely a little off the beaten path. Old farmhouse here, old barn, and a farmhouse. It's really pretty. Ain't got an old cistern here, a grain silo. It's pretty neat once you get out here in the farm country, what kind of surprises you can find. And we're actually getting into a few little hills, so something we're not really used to. Again, they've come through, they've harvested. Georgia has a lot of paper and lumber, and so they'll come through, they'll harvest the trees, and then they'll plant a whole bunch of vines to you know, go back, make toilet paper and everything else, paper towels, plates, printing paper, everything you could need. We've seen quite a few areas with trash and beer cans, and a lot of that is really due to locals. Yeah, looks like it's make sure we're in four-wheel drive, and we are. Looks like it could get a little slick up here. And driving on sand can be a little tricky. Sometimes it can be real soft, sugary sand. Other times it can be, you know, when it's damp, it can clump. And then there's also quite a bit of Georgia red clay out here too. Old work truck here. Got hay bales for winter, stocked up, ready to go. Neat old oak tree out here, kind of in the middle of nowhere. And then at the end of this little area, it looks like another farmhouse. We had a rough couple of hurricanes come through. Wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these trees being down as a result of those hurricanes. Cows over there in the field, happy. cows ready to go to market, looks like. There's a palm tree in their front yard. That's cool. So you don't have to go out and always find the toughest trail. Sometimes it's fun to just, hit a little dirt road, do some cruising, and, see what you can find. Like over here on the right, they've harvested, looks like a cornfield on the right. Looks like they're regenerating this field over here. These water pumps are big money. I think it goes all the way across the field. And there's not a whole lot of towns out here. Once you get past Statesboro here, you really don't have to run into anything until you get over towards Metter, which is probably, a good hour or so away from Savannah. At our track. See, it's recording this as we go. And so far today, we've done 42 miles. A good thing to know that you're not on private property and you're on one of these farm roads is look for mailboxes. There's houses with mailboxes. That means that the mail runs through there. And the other thing is, make sure you don't go anywhere between gates. Typically, people in America, they'll gate their property and put no trespassing signs. So, that's cool. Look at that. There's an old farmhouse over here on the left up on the hill through the trees. Mud on the windowsill too. You do want to be careful when you cross the hardballs, because sometimes people will be going 60 miles an hour out here. See, the terrain is changed a little bit. We got a few more hills. Another neat log cabin. Over here we got some cows. Somebody's put a lot of time and effort into building this fence. Looks like we're going to go straight. Looks like there's a cemetery up here. I'm not a big fan of checking out cemeteries. I know some people really like to do that type of stuff. That's really pretty. This guy's got his house and lake. Really nice fence he's put up. Out there working on his ATV, doing some logging. Really pretty fence. Again, people live out here, so don't go running it up. I see a lot of four-wheelers doing donuts, tracks from that out when we do these rides, and it kind of tears up the road a little bit when people get out there and do donuts, and that's neat. Look at this old barn. That's pretty. I guess the other moral of today's trip is take what you've got. You don't have to have a big fancy lifted Jeep to go explore these roads. I mean, in front of us, I just saw like an Acadia up there in front of us, all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. You probably need four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. I wouldn't come do this in a two-wheel drive pickup truck. But over here we've got some cotton fields growing. We're just kind of following the dirt roads, seeing where they go. Good tires and good vehicle, you can go a lot of places. fields. Absolutely beautiful sky up here. Looks like we may have something else out here in front of us too, like a couple farm trucks out here. So looks like they're probably moving some stuff. Got a squirrel running. It's a very hairy squirrel. Watching videos where somebody drives and they just point the camera down the road, sometimes those get a little bit old. Today's kind of windy, so I'm not going to put up the drone. Make sure it's clear that way, dart across. I think I came up with a plan, so I think we may go check out George L. Smith Lake. It's a state park in Georgia. Probably maybe another 30 minutes of driving, but we'll go check that out. Again, our motto will be exploring local, and so since we're down in southeast Georgia, we're going to go out and we're just exploring local. We've seen all kinds of farm animals. These roads are not challenging at all. I think most people, a lot of overlanders are weekend warriors, kind of like ourselves. We don't do this full time. We got to have a day job to support our hobby. And, I really love just getting out and driving, exploring, and seeing new things. And so, state parks and national parks and things like that are a good way to go. I saw some videos that some folks posted lately about, creators, as long as you're not interfering with anything inside the national parks. Thankfully, it looks like they've lifted that in one of the latest House bills. So that's good to know. So, like when you go to Yellowstone, it's absolutely beautiful. Lots of wildlife out there. I haven't been to Arches or Canyons, but eventually I'd like to go to those places. And for those of you, people who watch my videos are anywhere from 18 to 96 years old, and some of them may not be able to go out and explore. And if they watch these videos and maybe helps them capture some memories that they once had, but I get to share my adventures with them, and I get to share them with you. So but it's really cool. I just love to get out here and drive the Jeep. And if you want a reliable vehicle with four-wheel drive, lift kit on one of these Jeeps, especially like a Metal Cloak or Clayton, you are not going to hurt anything but your fuel mileage with the vehicle. And I ran stock gears in my last Jeep. I've got stock gears still in this thing, and we're running 40s. It's not highly recommended, but reliability wise, really the gas engine you can't beat. And I only had the one small issue with the eco diesel. Let's turn you around because here's some more cool farmland. So it's kind of cool. There's no telling how old these buildings are. Looks like that one's definitely newer. This one here is just kind of used for storage. I guess that's an old shed. That's an old garage for the farmers. And then here's an old barn. He still has the old sickle mower there. That's cool. But these days, farming is hard. It's hard to make money, especially once your land's paid off and taxes and everything else. I enjoy watching the Stony Ridge farmer, and he talks a lot about taxes. He just did an episode on that a little while ago because he had to pay his taxes on his farm, and almost everything he made is going back to the government for his, paying his taxes. And even though he's got a small farm, it is definitely a hard way of life, a very humble way of life too. Looks like we're gonna pop out on a hardball for a few miles, and then we'll head down and check out George L. Smith. Look at that. I'm not gonna get the details on here, but it's a giant cell tower. It's built to look like a giant pine. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. I mean, I love doing this. I'm just kind of capturing it as I go. Over here you can see they've got some tree farms for pine needles. This one here has kind of been let go, but they'll plant all these trees in rows, and then they'll come back and they'll rake up all these pine needles and bale them. Over here they planted some fruit trees on the right. Well, I thought we were going to be on the main hardball. Looks like the main hardball's up that way a little bit. Looks like we're going to go parallel to that. Haven't seen too much wildlife. We saw a squirrel, seen some birds, but we haven't seen a whole lot of wildlife today. If you're not careful, you can get some speed on these back roads. I try to usually keep it under 35. If it's freshly graded, you know, you can get it up to 45 pretty easy. But you also got to worry about the what if. You know, you don't want to slide off the road into a ditch when you hit a wet spot, because that can happen. Looks like we're coming up in the middle of a truck graveyard. Some buses and a farm over here. I don't see any private property signs. The road literally took us through the middle of a truck parking lot. Go out here to the main road. It looks like we're back on some hardball. It's not too far from George L. Smith State Park, and we'll go drive around, check that out. It should be a pretty neat little place. Usually it's state parks are only like a $5 parking fee. Pretty neat silo. So if you wanted to do a trip from, you know, Savannah across Georgia, you could definitely do this. You could stay at the Georgia campground here at George L. Smith, take some dirt roads, depending on how fast and far you want to travel. You know, you could spend a day at George L. Smith and then head over and try to find a place near Savannah to camp. I know there's a KOA campground, there's some RV campgrounds out at Tybee Island. You know, you've got Skidway Island State Park. Tybee's got like an RV lot. You can't drive on the beach at Tybee. Parking's a little bit expensive out that way, so you can go out there and walk the beach and everything else. Let's say another thing you should check out are wildlife management areas. I know up in Tennessee, there's some pretty good like trails that hunters use. They're not always well maintained. And then here in Georgia, if you've got a land pass, a fishing permit, or a hunting permit, you can access the Georgia Department of Wildlife Management areas, and there's actually a lot of those. So like the other day was checking out the Altahama Wildlife Management area. It used to be a plantation called Altahama Plantation, but each state has their own state parks, and then you got Department of Wildlife, Department of Natural Resources. You've got a lot of options out there. We're at the George L. Smith State Park. Open 7 till 10 p.m. Parking fee required, so typically it's $5. You know, you got some primitive camping, pioneer camping. Definitely a wetlands area, and it's we're west of Statesboro, Georgia, and so this is a popular place to bring your kayak, tent, and trailer camping down here. We did not plan to camp. Swimming prohibited. There's a sign down there that says swimming prohibited, because there are gators and snakes and all kinds of things in this lake. Hopefully there will be a little pier or something to go check out. Some more campers over here with their RVs. Looks like there's a picnic area over here. Have a drink, a boat ramp. Got kayaks. Looks like you can rent a kayak out here. See if we can find a place to park. Definitely want to be in a kayak. Yeah, so you just fill this out. You take it apart, tear it off, put it on the windshield, and the rest of it you take your $5, put it in the envelope, You can deposit your $5 right there. And there's your prices to go to Georgia State Park and historic area where you can get a pass. So hell, we got a little bit of mud on the Jeep. So even the fenders there covered in mud. But let's go over here and check out the lake. Out here, and you can kayak with alligators. If you've never kayaked with alligators, don't want to go all the way to the Okefenokee, you can come here to George L. Smith Lake and check it out. Got a really nice dock here. Put your kayak in, you can rent kayaks, I'm sure. Clearly swimming is prohibited. Haven't seen the alligator posted signs yet, but it's definitely a pretty park. I have to go check that out. It says dam ahead over there. So water comes from the lake, goes through the dam. These are all little baby cypress trees, which these are actually some of the smallest cypress trees I've seen when I go kayaking. Cypress trees are typically huge. We'll have to go walk over there and check that part out. Yeah, so here's some of the wildlife they got here. The Tegus. I didn't know we even had those here. They're kind of like monitor lizards, I guess. $50 a night for Pioneer camping, $38 for a premium site, $35 for a standard site. They got picnic shelters, conference center rates, boat rentals. So for 2 hours you can rent a boat for $30, $50 for 4 hours, which $50 will give you lots of time out on the water. Got gopher tortoises out here. They got fish. Pretty neat. And friends and members can save 10%. Wow. That is cool. Just goes downriver all the way to the ocean. Yeah, so we just left George L. Smith State Park. We've been down this way before, but we're just making our way back towards the house. It's really pretty out here, especially with the sun how it is. Make sure we don't jump anybody's farm. It's cool. Farmhouse here. It's pretty. It's like Grandpa's house. A little bouncy. We had a little bit of tarmac and we're right back on the dirt. Falling over this way with the sunset. My might be like, you drive through here every couple of months. And it's kind of true. Kind of cruise down this way every so often. Enjoy all these back country roads, get away from things, get away from people. The trees here are glowing pink. Got some swampland over there. Well, hopefully this isn't too deep. I guess we're going to have to commit. We made it. That's where we see the cows all the time. Down here on this farm. Beautiful sunset. I've never seen one with a face like that. He's like brown with a black and white face. It's always really pretty. We've never seen it from this angle. Beautiful farmhouse, beautiful shed. It's got an old barn back here. Man. Beautiful old barn. So this is why, you know, adventuring locally, you never know what you're going to find. We've waved at, you know, farmers and drivers and all kinds of people today, out and about. Biggest thing is just don't tear up the land, don't tear up the roads, and take whatever trash you have, put it in your car, and then throw it away. Hey guys, I think that's going to be a wrap for tonight's video. If you would, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Once again, you can go out, adventure in your own local area, or you can download files, share them with friends, and check out new places. Well, with that being said, make sure you check us out over on Instagram for early access, and keep coming back for more. Once again, I get to share my dream with you, but the true purpose of this channel is help to inform, motivate, and inspire you to get out there and start building your dreams.